It's Tuesday. It is the day after Boxing Day, so this is the first time I've recorded. Away from Vlogmas now, back to usual. It's vlog 100 and something, I'm not entirely sure. It's very cold today. We are heading into town to take my mum out for hot chocolate and a bun, to have a look around, see if there's anything we're going to get with some of our Christmas money. I am hopefully purchasing God of War today. It won't be reduced in price, but I can't wait anymore. Isaac needs a hard drive for his PS5 and is just going to have a look in game. So that is the plan today. Darren's in a foul mood. Here he comes. He's just thrown a coat at Isaac because Isaac didn't bring a coat and he's not happy. Merry Christmas, folks, eh? So I won't be recording, I don't think, today. Well, actually I might, because Darren's with... Oh dear God, what the hell? I hope there's nothing below us.
Might have just been handbrake because it was cold last night.
That could have been the handbrake sticking on there. Or I've just run over something. Oh, I don't see anything.
Yeah, probably just handbrake.
That wasn't nice.
It was really, really cold last night.
It's freaking cold now. But that's stuck on again as well. That brings it off. It usually tells us the temperature on here, but was that Billy?
No, it's his lad, don't know his name.
Oh, right, yeah. I know what it looks like, but I wouldn't know what his name. Yeah, it usually tells us the temperature on the screen, but for some reason it's not showing us. But it's bloody cold, that's all you need to know. Dropping off some stuff of Isaac's to a charity shop. It's been sat for ages. It's like old school uniform, and it's in really good condition because we only bought him a new jumper a couple of months before he finished school. And they used to have this thing out here where, you know, you could drop off uniform at the local GAA club and they would, you know, local people who could, we're in a like little village community, so it's not like everybody goes to the same school that lives out here. So, but they haven't been, I've been waiting and waiting. I've held on to it since Isaac finished school in July. We're now in December, obviously, so June to December. A picnic outside, are they wise?
Oh my God.
There's people down there having an outdoor picnic. That's what a picnic is. But in this weather, something wrong with them. I've got like 3 layers on and a scarf. Yeah, so I'm just going to leave it into a charity shop in Ballymena and hope that somebody from his school is in the charity shop and gets the use out of the... There's one shop that it definitely will get use out of, but I don't know if they're open and they're paying up the arse to get parked outside. There's another one a bit further in, so drop those off. Hope everyone had a nice Christmas. We had a quiet one, which is the sort of one you like. I don't like this sort of, you know, we're lucky in that, the hell was that? Headlights are off, it's daylight. Right, they're on. You know, people have to frantically go between loads of different houses. Some people on my Facebook have been saying what they've been doing for Christmas, and they're literally on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, or I think, yeah, Christmas Day and Boxing Day, they're like 4 different houses they have to go to, because you get, obviously people that's mums and dads have split up. You have both sets of households to try and have them see the kid on Christmas Day. Then you've got both sets of grandparents. It's a nightmare. So I'm glad we don't have to do loads of traipsing about, because it wouldn't make it, just make it stressful. So yeah, that's about all to tell you. I think everything passed without hitch, no major issues. Isaac we built his Big Bang Theory Lego yesterday, which looks really cool. He hasn't touched his new guitar yet. It's upstairs. You haven't asked anyone to help you tune it, Isaac. He played his new Dungeons and Dragons PlayStation game last night. He said it was good. So we're going to see what's in town today. Hopefully it's not too busy. We shall see. We avoided town on Boxing Day because a lot of people tend to go out on Boxing Day. But yeah, I shall check in later on today, or later on in the week. We're in Costa waiting on Darren and Isaac. 2 minutes they said. 6 minutes ago, 7 minutes ago. Can't get a coffee, do they come? But somebody's going to nick. Look how busy it is. Yep. Men and timekeeping. Right, folks, this is what's going on. I got God of War Ragnarok. We've got a big cutscene at the minute.
Then let me regain it.
Oh, dear
Let me
me.
show you what I found.
Got about another 10 minutes of gameplay before I have to come off.
I think I know how.
Can't monopolise the TV, folks. So yes, it's very good so far. I've had about an hour and a half gameplay. I've had 2 big fights, one with a bear and one with a big massive fat Thor. No, he was not the Thor that we're used to. So I'm going to go back. My cutscene's almost over, I think. Happy New Year to everyone. I just realised I filmed Waffle.
It's January.
It is 1st of January. This is just for Vlogmas's reasons. This is London fireworks. Still got Isaac up with us. Darren's over there. Have you any New Year message for everyone?
Just zoom in on that little pocket
I'm
and
still
dance jumper.
perplexed that it's another year. It's about 2019, isn't it?
Just zoom in that little pocket. Selby is in the spirit. No, in that little pocket with
I've
Bobby.
got it, Isaac. Bit of Neil Diamond on it. Right, people, that's it. We've been doing nothing for the past 2 days. We've been sat in the house, but it's New Year's Day 2023 and we're watching Sam Ryder singing. Oh dear, the beast is rising. We're still listening to Sam Ryder.
Her eyes are bug eyes.
It's New Year's Day, folks. It is it's almost 12:30. Dobby is having a snoozette, a bijou snoozette.
She just had bug eyes. I got pictures.
Inside Darren's dressing gown.
Not very comfortable.
Well, she must be very comfortable. You mean you're not?
She's comfortable.
Where's Molly? Who's just heard me say her name is now coming over. Hello. Happy New Year, Molly. Happy New Year.
Dobby's jealous.
I've got to kind of sit wedged in the corner like Stephen Hawking's in his chair.
Well, that's hardly a very fair comparison, is it?
That's fair.
Hello and happy New Year, folks. It is Sunday, the 1st of January 2023, and this will be the last entry in the vlog. What to tell you? We haven't done anything. We wanted to go up to Belfast for a buffet. I don't know if I told you last time I picked up the sweet chili chicken instead of the sweet and sour, and because my taste wasn't properly back after COVID, I didn't realise until my lips started to burn and my stomach. I have IBS. I can't eat spice. My stomach was bad for days. It's still not right. It's been bad again. So just making sure I have all my wee bits and bobs on. So we're hoping to go up tomorrow, Monday. Sunday's today, so we're going to my mum's. Don't think there's anything else much to tell you. We had a quiet night last night. We watched Sam Ryder singing a few songs. They sung some Queen, some George Michael, some Elvis, Elton John. So we watched that and the fireworks. I much prefer they've introduced drones now, and I like them. They don't do much with them, but I remember a couple of years ago they did drones for the first time and they did loads with it. Last night was only a little bit, but every time I drive out of here, it's like the brakes become unstuck. They make a noise. That's radio. I'd like to see more drones. Oh, who's that?
Who is it?
Oh, I didn't know I had a big dog like that.
Yeah, it's got that and it's got his 2 little miniature Yorkshires.
Well, I know the Yorkshire.
He walks them normally all at the same time.
Isn't he gorgeous? That's one of our neighbours has got a big husky, which I've never actually seen before.
And the Yorkies dominate it.
Yeah, the Yorkies are tiny, tiny little dogs. They're
Dora.
so cute.
And Dora, can't remember the one's name.
So yeah, into my mum's. Tomorrow hopefully we'll be going to Belfast. icy conditions possible, drive carefully. Isaac's back to school on Thursday. Tuesday I'm in at my mum's. Wednesday's no plans as yet. Yeah, Molly's at the groomers on Tuesday as well. But yeah, it was a quiet New Year for us. You text today, like WhatsApp groups, people are hungover, and it's like, nope. The days of being out on the booze on New Year's Eve are got, to be quite honest, I can only think of one. That time we went to Rock City when Louisa and all was there, and Roy. And Roy spent the night sellotaped to that girl's face.
Oh.
That's the last time I remember being out on New Year's Eve. I'm not a fan of...
When he was Barry Whiting on dance floor.
Yeah, I don't...
On the step.
I don't like... I'd not say I don't like New Year, I just don't like the whole falseness of it, where everybody has to be hugging and kissing each other. It's like, no.
Happy New Year! It's like you spoke to me in 11 months.
But I'm just not a fan of
People.
But yeah, well, that's quite true. I'm a fan of some people. Just, I find that if you take a percentage of nice people to not so nice, your percentage of not too nice tends to be higher, unfortunately. And us over here haven't got, or what's it called, a cold weather payment. What, I don't know.
Crisis payment.
The one that everyone else, the £400 that everyone else got in November, I think, because our executives not sitting, it had to be, I think, passed back to Westminster to sort out, and we're supposed to get it sometime in January. I was trying so hard not to use the heating, but this past month you have to. There's that bloody thing that pulls you, that tracking thing. We've this thing, I don't like it. It's, I think I've told you this before, it's meant if you're on the motorway and you drift and it senses you going over the lane, it'll pull you back. But when you're driving perfectly straight and you're not going over the lane, for some reason it starts pulling you sideways, and I don't understand why. I don't like it. Even the guy when we picked up the car said, oh, this thing, people hate it. Just, you'll get used to it the minute you put the car on, switch that off. So we did. The only thing it would be useful, like, is very, very long drives. It's getting a bit foggy. You know, if you're on a long motorway, but I can't say I've ever almost fallen asleep driving on the motorway. I almost fell asleep driving once, but that was completely separate. That was shocking. A few years ago, I started this thing. I'll tell you this, just in case any of you have the same problem. And Darren will tell you, I'm not a person that falls asleep sitting up during the day. Never in the cinema. I used to laugh at our friend Roy that did that. Every time he went to the cinema, he fell asleep. But I started falling asleep every time we went to the cinema. It didn't matter if I was enjoying the movie or not. I'd fall asleep. Sitting at home on the seat, I'd fall asleep. And then one day, we were driving home, and I almost dozed off. Thankfully, Darren was in the car. Thank God.
You had no idea.
Now what? I thought it was just a mixture of two things. I thought it was just another lovely side effect of ME or fibro, coupled with the fact I was getting older, because I just kept thinking, well, Roy always falls asleep in the cinema, and he's a bit older than me. Maybe it's that.
He's a lot older than you.
Darren falls asleep all the time. So I'm thinking, maybe this is just age. Maybe this is what happens to everyone. But it was really disconcerting because I'd never done it. But I ended up going to the doctors. I think I read somewhere that there was a medication I was taking, when I was on the painkillers, I think. There was a medication I was taking that prevents the absorption of vitamin C. Is that it?
Iron. It stops your body.
Oh, was I taking vitamin C and that stopped? Whatever it was, basically I went to the doctor and my iron was shocking. It was ridiculously low. I had to be put on like these really high, not like over-the-counter iron, like proper prescription iron tablets. And it's completely gone now. It was horrendous. I put up with it for, I'd say, a good few months.
It was that horrible drug. I forget what it's called.
Lyrica.
Yeah, it was that one or the one that's been prescribed after it, and it was stopping the absorption.
Oh no, I had it months, so it must have been Lyrica, because the other one I was only on for less than a week, because remember the
Yeah.
drugs do horrible things, folks.
Throw that doctor.
I got off Lyrica after being on it. You're not supposed to be on it long term. I was on it for I think 5 years, and what used to happen was, if I forgot one, say like with ME and fibro, very often you'll like wake up and then you'll fall back to sleep because you're exhausted, and then you get up and it's like stupid o'clock in the afternoon. You forget your normal morning routine. You haven't taken your tablet. It hits about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. No, usually not that late. About 3 o'clock, and you're like, oh god. And I can't explain it. It's the closest I can think to explain to you is someone that's a drug addict or an alcoholic not getting their fix. It's shocking.
It is. It's the same as heroin.
I can't even. There was one day, Darren's dad was over, and we were in Portrush, and we were in Barry's. You couldn't be anywhere worse. It's like a big amusement arcade. It's massive. It's noisy. It's warm. It was the height of summer, and as I was stood there, it hit me, and I'm thinking, oh my god. And Isaac was playing them 2 penny things where the thing comes down like what's that thing Ben Shepherd does? Tipping point, where the 2p comes down and the little drawer pushes it out. He was doing those, and it hit me. Oh Jesus, I haven't taken my tablet, and I had to leave and go back and sit in the car because I literally couldn't bear it.
Didn't even have an ice cream.
But that's how bad it was. I felt awful. But eventually, anyway, after watching a documentary, this is really uninteresting. Well, Alan, it might interest you because you're interested in stuff. But the rest of you, I apologise. What?
The same drug addicts in Belfast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, you're going on now, the buds.
I watched a documentary about druggies in Belfast. I watched it purely because it was about Belfast, and we don't get a lot of local programmes on telly. And they were taking this thing that I was on recreationally. They called it buds.
Snorting it.
And they were sat there and they were like zombies. And I'm thinking, oh my god. And they got onto this and they couldn't get off it. They got addicted. And they were saying in the programme it's more addictive than heroin, cocaine. And I'm thinking, Jesus
And the
Christ.
suicide rate went through the roof because people couldn't then get hold of it. And
It was bad. So I thought to myself, as with a lot of painkillers, if you take them long term, which I was prescribed them long term, they started losing their effectiveness. They never took the pain away, they just dulled it a little bit, but the longer I took them, that I lost that, it didn't make any difference. But I knew that if I didn't take them, I was in hell. But so I had to make this decision. I'm on this really dangerous drug that's addictive, that's not doing me any good, and I need to get off it. Jesus. So I went to the doctors and I said, look, I want to get off this. He gave me something else to try. That was just another whole can of worms, because I'm not even going to go into that. The side effects for that was shocking. And I ended up finding this website on Facebook called Lyrica Survivors. That sounds a bit, OTT with it in. And I read about how other people had done it. And the doctor was just cutting me down like, I don't know, 25 milligrams at a time. And people were saying, no, that's way you want to be like coming down at the, like 5 milligrams. I bought these little empty capsules and a little tiny like spoon thing. It was for snuff. And I used to like take a certain amount of little balls out of the inside of the capsules, and I took it down. It took me months and months. But I got off it, and Darren will tell you, 6 months of my life, it was awful. I was in constant migraines, nausea, I was walking into furniture, I was dizzy, I felt sick. All I could stomach was carrot coriander soup and sandwiches.
there's still a tin in cupboard.
On Christmas Day that year, we ended up in A&E because I'd had a 3-day migraine, and I've never been diagnosed with migraines. And Darren called, like that NHS number, and they said, have you been diagnosed with migraines? And I'm like, no. And how long has you had it? I told her, and then she told me that I needed to go for a brain scan because I might be taking a stroke.
Because you haven't been diagnosed with migraine, they had to be safe and make sure you weren't having what the doctor thought I had, which was a bleed on the bloody brain.
So they said it was excruciating, guys. It was horrible. So we ended up on Christmas Day in A&E. Obviously it wasn't what they thought it was. I didn't get any tests. They looked in my eyes. That was about the height of it. They gave me, I think, cocodamol. It's like, really? Or was it might be even paracetamol. It's like, you're
Yeah.
giving me
Take some
paracetamol,
paracetamol,
like I haven't thought of painkillers. But anyway, long story short, I got off it in the end, and it was the best thing I ever did. But if I hadn't found that website, look at that, guys, he got 2 black eyes, I don't know. Yeah, I felt so bad. I can understand how people go back on. If you have to, say if you're a single mum, or if you're out working and you've no option, I couldn't have worked. It was so bad. It was like, imagine the worst hangover of your life. It was like that all the time. And if it wasn't for reading on this website, other people's experience and them saying it's horrible, it's horrendous, you'll feel like you're never going to be yourself again, but eventually you'll be okay. So I stuck at it, and it took about 6 months. 2 little doggies, look at them, they're happy, gambling away there, look.
He's really quiet in the back.
You alright, Isaac?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Probably thinking about girls.
So be careful what tablets you take, folks. So, all well to people that it helps, but for me personally, no. Long term, I should never have been on it. And now I don't take any prescription painkillers now. I take a lot of vitamins and supplements, like magnesium and turmeric, things that are supposed to help with joints and muscle pain. And I do take cocodamol when I have a particularly difficult, I try not to take them too much. Look how bandy-legged that big dog is. Isn't he beautiful?
That's a mastiff cross, I think. And look at the size of this one. Massive.
Tiny little chihuahua, folks, we're going past. Oh, bless his little jumper.
They all need jumpers on.
So yeah, that is the story of Lyrica, folks. Scary potatoes it was, but we got there in the end. And I don't think I'd ever go back on prescription painkillers. Well, I suppose if it got bad enough I'd have to, but I'd be very careful. I'd just rather put up with the pain these days than think about going through that again. He thinks he's him out of
I'm wearing all my stuff all at once.
Green Day. Or as you call it, Green Day.
Green Day.
There's there's nobody about. It's really quiet. Imagine, there's a police in front of us.
Oh,
Why do you always feel guilty when you see the police,
You are
even
guilty.
though you're not doing
you're
anything?
badass.
The first thing you do is, right, what speed am I doing? I'm not doing anything wrong, but
Don't
the
get eye
police is there.
contact. Don't get eye contact. But
I
if you don't
have
get eye
never-
contact, you're ignoring them.
Yep. I have never in my life been pulled over by the police. I'm quite surprised. I'd quite like to do that breathalyzer thing. I like the look of that. But I've never been pulled over, so I've never had to. Knowing me, I'd have had a terrible cold and I'd be on one of them medicines that made you blow like you were drinking alcohol. Good out of bed, Jesus Christ, what's wrong? Amazon man, oh Jesus. I'll let you out here. Ordered a vape pipe for my dad. It said on it about showing ID. And I said, do you want me to get this delivered to our house because you'll probably not be out of bed? But we'd ordered it 3 times before and they'd never ever asked for ID, they just put it through the door. Well, this time they came at 2:20. My dad was in bed, didn't ask for ID. Then they came the next day. I put a note on the account to say no one is available to show ID until after 4 p.m. They came the next day, 2:20 again. He phoned me, stood outside their house, and I'm like, it's not my house, it's my parents'. I said, 3 times previously I've ordered this and you've never asked for ID. And I said, I did put a note on the account to say no one was there until 4 o'clock. Oh, right, okay, I'll come back later. He never bothered his arse coming back, and today's New Year's Day, and obviously there won't be any deliveries, so my dad hasn't his vape today either. Also, the second time he came, he didn't ring the bell, he knocked the door. So that second time he came, my dad was actually out of bed. They came, and because he didn't ring the bell and knock the door, nobody heard him. Right, I'm going to go in now. I'm done complaining. I'll speak to you later. Hello, people. And happy... What day is this? Am I close enough to these? Yep. Happy Tuesday. It is a atrocious day. Somebody's coming into the thing. I'll just let them come in before I come out. Or they just... what are they doing? I hate when people don't make clear what they're doing. Right, they're turning around. Okay. Just going into my mum's. I doubt we'll be going shopping today. It's a really, really rainy, crappy old day. Got my scarf on, so I've not got a high neck jumper on. That's exciting for you. Really, really cold today. Really wet. I need to get petrol. Got into the car, switched it on. Ping! Low fuel. It's like, oh, for goodness sake. We're going to Belfast tomorrow, hopefully, so I'll have to go get fuel now. I'm going to have to sort out my mum's clothes starting probably today. My mum can't get upstairs. She's got a chairlift, but you know, it's not just that she can't walk. She has difficulty sitting up straight, and it would be dangerous for her to be sat on the chairlift and then trying to transfer to a wheelchair. She just, you know, really she should have a hoist, to be honest. But she's holding off getting one. She feels that's like another level of her independence gone. So they're using this thing called a steady to transport her on. So I have to basically bring everything. Oh Jesus, why is it so busy here? I have to bring everything out of. Fucking hell, have they got cheap petrol here or something? All the $149.99, is that cheap? Now I'm going to be blocking off anybody coming in if I sit here, but how else? Are they waiting for petrol or what? What's he doing? Right, you can fit in that petrol pump. I just don't know if he's waiting for petrol or not. No idea. Right, I'm gone. No idea what the fuck he's doing. The guy sat behind me waiting. I don't know on what. Yeah, I'm sure I had a good rant about that. People parking about the petrol last week, which I haven't even edited yet to put up. Week 4 of Vlogmas is still to be edited. I've just been busy every day. So I'll go in today, and there's a big van at the front pump. The pump behind him's empty, but there's a guy sitting right, like he's waiting in the middle of the forecourt, right like parallel with the pump that's empty. And I'm thinking, that space that there was before that someone parked in, that I ranted and raved about, had a car in it right beside the pumps, and I'm thinking, does that guy think he's not going to fit in that space to get petrol? Is he waiting to get petrol? Or has he just, like, there was someone in the driver's seat, and I'm sat there, and I'm like so far back, I'm just turned into the filling station, so I was going to be getting in the way of the traffic coming along the road. So I thought, right, if he thinks he can't fit in that space, I know I can fit in that space. And I went into the space, got my petrol, went in, paid, come back. The van in front of me that went in before me to get petrol still wasn't out. The car that had parked where you really shouldn't park, blocking everyone off, had just come out with 2 kids. And he couldn't drive off because the guy getting petrol had blocked him in, which you're not supposed to park there, so that's no surprise. One of those big signs, they couldn't go right. Ow! Somebody's just pulled out of a side road. The guy behind that was looking like he was waiting for the petrol pump, someone came out of the shop and got in the car and he drove off, so he wasn't waiting for petrol. But where he was waiting, it was like right at the petrol pump. All he had to do was drive forward a little bit and he was at the pump. So I had to then, I had the guy parked to my right that shouldn't be there, that's parked parallel to 2 pumps. I had the Sky van in front of me at the first pump that hadn't come out of the shop yet. I had the guy behind me that would look like it was waiting for petrol, but it wasn't. There's a tiny little gap between the 2 pumps. I'm sat at the back pump, so I managed to get manoeuvred around it. And then I noticed the guy that was parked in the wrong place trying to do the same thing and follow me, and he couldn't. His car was no bigger than mine, but he couldn't get manoeuvred. Dickhead. Oh, I know I complain a lot, folks, I know, but it really irritates me. Bad driving, bad parking. The main thing that irritates me more than anything else is inconsideration for other drivers. It's, right, I want to park my car. They're like, you know what it's like? It's like the equivalent of there being 4 parking spaces and somebody parking the wrong direction over 4 of them and saying, I don't care that 3 other people can't get parked, I'm parked. And that's what it's like. I don't care that I'm blocking off 2 petrol pumps and making it impossible for people to pull out when they've got petrol, or making it impossible for larger vehicles to park and get petrol. I want to park here. The reason it's so busy is the shop's full of builders or labourers getting sandwiches. They have like a fresh deli in there, and there's just a load of workmen getting their sandwiches. It's 10 to 2. Should have been getting their sandwiches over an hour ago. This car in front of me, it's now come to the actual stop in the road to turn into, honestly, they've stopped to turn into the, right, you fucking wait, missus. Stopped on the road to turn into another shop. The car in front of him got so pissed off waiting, he overtook him, and it's in a little 30-mile-an-hour villagey part. It couldn't wait. It's just, it just does my head in. It really does. I cannot bear people that never think of other people. You know, I've said this before, my granda told me when I was a child, if you ever drive, treat everyone on the road like they're an idiot. That's not saying they are, just treat them like they are. Like people want to pull out of their fucking gardens onto the road when traffic's coming. You just have to, when you see a car, expect the unexpected. When you see someone come to like a road that, you know, parallel to your road, don't expect that they will definitely stop, because they may not. Be aware that you may need to do something evasive. Don't always believe people's indicators. If you're in America, turn signals, because people may not indicate, may not put their turn signal on, and they may turn. People may put their turn signal on and not turn, or people may not just use them. Sometimes I like to shout out my windows, you know, if it works, try the other one, it works, try the other stick, it works. It's a pet peeve of mine, as you may have been able to tell. I just try really hard to be thoughtful of other drivers and motorists, and another thing people don't like to do is feed into traffic. So if you're on a road and there's a road coming down joining your road, surely the sensible thing to do is you feed in, one from that direction, two, one from this, one from this, one from this. But people, if it's busy, get this like tunnel vision. It's like blinkers on a horse, and they're like this, and they refuse to acknowledge there's someone waiting from either side. If everyone allowed one person in, traffic would move freely, but they won't. And you get then horrendous tailbacks of people waiting, getting really aggravated and taking risks maybe they otherwise shouldn't have. Yeah, right, the lecture about driving now stops, folks. I do apologise. So it's really bad rain. It's not getting any lighter going in towards town, so I would assume we won't be going out today, which pleases me because I'm really tired. But it does mean I have to start on my mum's clothes. So let me explain to you. My parents live in a house that I was brought up in. I lived in a house with my grandparents, my mum's parents, my parents and me. So there were 5 of us. It's a 3-bedroom house, so 2 couples and then me in my bedroom. So my parents live there now on their own, and they only use the upstairs for storage. We had 2 living rooms, and they use one of those for the bedroom now, so everything's downstairs. But 2 of the bedrooms upstairs, the 2 double rooms, both have built-in wardrobes. They also both have freestanding wardrobes. Those 4 wardrobes are full to capacity. There are chests of drawers full to capacity. My old bedroom has a wardrobe full to capacity. It's got to the point that the bed, there's a suitcase, 2 suitcases, one under each chest of drawers, full to capacity. There's a big double bed on the largest room. It's just, the whole top of it has just got folded bedding. Now there's no double bed used anymore because my mum has a hospital bed, my dad has a single bed in the same room. So I said, any double bedding, I said keep like maybe 1 change of sheet, 1 change of like, there's 2 double beds, they've got like bedding on. I said keep 1 change and what's on for each of the double beds in case someone comes to stay or something and you've got a change and you've got one on. Get rid of the rest, you don't need them. We call it the hot press. It's the part where your water tank is, and people generally store their towels in it. So theirs is full of towels and bedding going back probably 40 years that nobody's cleared out. So Muggins here is going to have to clear out that hot press and then go through 5 wardrobes, 2 chests of drawers and 2 suitcases, showing my mum every individual item of clothing that she owns to find out what she wants to keep, what she wants to donate. There won't be anything to chuck, I doubt it, because my mum buys things, then they go in a wardrobe and she forgets she has them, and then she keeps buying more and more and more and more. Like, she'll go out, oh, I think I'll get a new jumper, and it's like, you got a new jumper last week? No, I didn't. You did. So I want to show her how many clothes she has. The reason we have to do it is because every wardrobe is now full to capacity. There's no room for anything else, and she like rotates maybe 5 or 6 jumpers and a couple of pairs of trousers, and there's all this stuff. So I want to make her aware of how much stuff there is, so we're doing the wardrobes. And given the weather, I think we'll be starting wardrobe 1 today. I said to her we'll only be able to get like 1 done each time I'm in, because it's going to take a couple of hours to go through each one. And my mum's not the type of person you can't show a thing to and she'll go keep, get rid of. She'll want to look at every single thing for like 20-30 seconds at least, and she'll want to stretch it, she'll want to see what colour it is, she'll want to see how long it is. Some of it she may want to try on. It's going to be a flippin' nightmare. So that's what I will be doing this afternoon, and attempting to hold my temper. The Amazon guy who was meant to deliver my dad's vape, first day he went, you see, my dad's ordered 3 previously and they've never asked for ID. This time they want ID. So the first day they knocked the door at 2:20, my dad was in bed. The second day they came back, I went on and updated the delivery instructions because they said we attempted delivery, blah blah blah. So shit. I have massive amount of lying water to the left and a truck to the right there, that wasn't good. I went on and said do not attempt to deliver before 4 PM as there will be nobody at home to sign or to show ID. Second day the guy turned up 2:20 and phoned me. I says it's not my property. He phoned me and goes, it's no, I don't even think he said it's Amazon. He phoned me and says I'm outside. Like, what? Amazon delivery, I'm outside. I said it's not my property, it's my dad's. I said I did update the delivery instructions yesterday to say there would be no one at the property until 4 PM. I said it's 2:20. Oh, right, I'll come back later. That was on the 31st of December. He didn't come back later. Now when you say to me I'll come back later, or either said I'll come back later or I'll come back after 4, it was one of those two. He didn't come back. And the next day was New Year's Day and they're off. So I assumed it would come to yesterday, New Year, or 2nd of January. Nothing. No delivery yesterday. So it says that they're coming today. The thing says between 3:15 and 6:15, even though I've told the guy and I've put delivery instructions, do not deliver before 4 o'clock, between 3:15 and 6:15. Are they stupid? I've never had issues with Amazon deliveries before. And I mean, why is every single time I've ordered a vape from my parents, they've never asked for ID, and this time he won't deliver it because if it's through the letterbox, won't deliver it until he's seen ID. It's like, good God. And what makes matters even worse, on the 31st, the second delivery attempt, my dad was actually up and in the living room. But the delivery guy doesn't ring the bell, he just knocks the door. And I don't mean with a knocker, I don't mean hard, I just mean with a slight knock, knock, knock. The living room is on the other side of it. It's not a massive house, folks, don't get me wrong, but the room they sleep in is close to the front door, but the other room is at the back of the house. My mum has exceptionally good hearing, my dad doesn't, but my mum, like me, we both have very good hearing. We think it's because our eyesight's so bad, it like, oh bless them, we'll give them good hearing. My mum didn't even hear him, but she had heard him the day before when he came, and she says he didn't ring the bell, he just knocked the door. She'd heard him that day. So this guy's coming, knocking the door, not ringing the bell, coming at times he's been told not to come at, and then not coming when he said he is coming, and then yesterday no delivery. So when this eventually arrives, I'm putting a complaint in because I'm not happy. So there's another whinge for you. I'm currently behind a learner driver. which I don't mind because we all had to learn once. He's driving a Hyundai Kona, which is a nice little car, has to be said. I miss my Skoda. Really miss my Skoda. It was such a nice little car. Skoda Yeti. Right, in the absence, my nose is out, chat means I'm going to be angry. In the absence of, oh god, Jesus, that person that's learning or teaching that person to drive really needed to take control of the pedals then. Dear God, if there had been anybody coming around that roundabout, they'd have been wiped out. They've gone on the outside lane to go round a roundabout. They weren't even in the right lane. They hadn't an indicator on. They were coming down the road I'm driving on, and they wanted to go right. And they just threw themselves to the side into the wrong lane and then put the indicator on after they made the manoeuvre. Mirror signal manoeuvre. You would be just aghast at how many people don't do that. Pressing all my buttons now. Yeah, I'm back to driving again. Honestly, I need to do a complaining about driving vlog. I wonder would anybody watch it. Oh, happy birthday for yesterday, Alan. It is Tuesday I think it's the 3rd of January today. Your birthday was it yesterday? So happy belated birthday. I hope you had a nice one. Yeah, right, I'm gonna go because I don't know why it's so busy. There's a load of traffic. And I shall speak to you guys later. Christmas, look at this guy trying to park. Yep, he's gonna give up. That space, mate, if you get into that. Oh, actually his car's not. I thought it was a bigger car than it was. Well done. Bet it's a man driving that. There's sexism. A woman wouldn't attempt that. It's too difficult. It is a man. You men, I give you that you're much better parkers than us women, generally, on average. Bet my dad's taking that sign off the door. I told him to put a sign in the door that says please ring bell, because he'd come again and they wouldn't bloody hear him. No, I think it is at the door actually, I can see it. And he's in bed. Great. At least I'm here today, so when it comes, I should be able to get it.